Hey, true believers, it's Englentine here with a review of Batman the Drowned, a Dark Knight's Metal tie-in. And obviously, if you've been following along, it's basically Batman takes over the Justice League in Elseworlds. It's like an alternate version to Elseworlds stories, except for this one. Now, I may be wrong, I'm not infallible, but I don't remember a Batman where he became, Aquaman became Batman. So I don't remember an Elseworlds that did that. So this might actually be its own animal. I like this particular cover the best, and I'm not even sure this is a cover. It just came with it, but I like the negative space, the uses of white and black. I mean, it says everything. The green tone, I guess the real cover is okay, but I just like this image right here a lot better. So, a little backstory now. I love the series, and if you've watched any of the videos, you absolutely know I gush all over. I mean, it's just, you can't get any better. It's just tense. There's scenes of horror. This is, you feel the stakes. I mean, really, this is one of those crossovers that warrants the large cast. It's one of those where you're seeing our heroes get beat to the point where you're just wondering, how are they going to overcome the odds here? So I am so jazzed to read this, and I open the front page, I start reading it, and it's writer Dan Abnett, and he's got these little white squares everywhere, and he's pontificating, trying to be prophetic, and instead it just comes off like a freaking Bazooka Joe comic. Those are the ones that were on the bubblegum, if anybody, for the younger set. Point being is, it tries to be deep and fails. And what's sad is it's all over the Philip Tan and Tyler Niernan art. Niernan, excuse me. And that is really good in this book. They can draw a book, but it's Dean White and Arif Parento's colors that really sell a lot of what happens in this story. I mean, this is a visually stimulating book, especially at the beginning. I think that's where it really shines, right here. And the images we're seeing, the waves crashing over a city, everything is just drawn excellent with the blues, the whites, making everything just pop. And you really do get a sense of wonder. You get a sense of dread. And that is a really, just from the visuals, it's just the words that bring it down. And that's just in the beginning, though, when he's, when it gets to dialogue, when it gets to the actual story, everything is fine. The book picks up. And, when he's facing down Aquaman and Mera, the book picks up, and it's definitely worth it. And you get right back to the thrills. You get right back to the drama. Now, of course, there is no perfect book, and like I said, the beginning of this was definitely weak. But another weak element is the motivations, I have to say. It's definitely filled with some great scenes. I love this beginning battle between Aquaman, Mera, and the Drowned. And the ending battle is definitely good, but we'll get to that. However, once again, those dang thought bubbles pop up and interrupt every time they show up. The other thing I think is weak is the motivations. I mean, we do get the origin right here. It starts the origin story. Except right away we're at the, it's like the Flash one. We don't get the build-up to find out why this particular Batman is so crazy that they're already murderous. And I think that's the weaker story. If you ask me, the Murder Machine and the Dawnbreaker are much better. We got to see why this is happening, what pushed this particular. And now they mention it in the book. It's just another meta Okay, so you went on a crazed killing of metas. Why? Why did you do that? Was it like the Ben Affleck thing? If we have 1% of knowledge that they're our enemy, we have to kill them all. You know, and it doesn't really make that clear. So villain motivations, that's pretty big for the story they're trying to tell. Does it really destroy the book, though? No, not really. I would have to say, while all of them have been good, so take that as you will. If you've been seeing the reviews and thinking I'm way off on this, maybe this is the book for you, and maybe this is the one that stands out. I don't know. I did think it was weird because they didn't exactly... Another thing that they could have expanded on in this particular scene, well, I altered my DNA to become like an Atlantean and have healing and... really? How? What was the plan? What was going on? You know, it's just one of those things. It's like there are stories within this story that really would be their own book. And I think that would be awesome. Like I said, why is this world's Batman or Batwoman, whatever you want to call her, why is she murderous towards metas? How did she get the technology to alter DNA to become like an Atlantean? There are some serious stories to be told here, and it's just kind of glossed over. The Batman Who Laughs shows up and does the whole, well, you got the world above us, and that's what's causing all your troubles, yada yada, which we've heard before. And, you know, it's okay, because they're really building up the Batman Who Laughs to be something, which we're all thinking, okay, so how did Batman become the Joker? But one thing that also made me wonder is, so he points out the light side. Why is it that when they go to the light, that they can all of a sudden beat the heroes in the light so easily? And if they could, why haven't they before? It's just one of those things, you know? It's just, if you're so all-powerful to this particular dimension, I don't know. That I hope is answered later, because I was thinking, wow, they're so overpowered. And in this case, it gets better when they stop with the origin scene and they go towards the modern day, and you realize they're dealing with the Dark Army. And it's the same thing that Aquaman was dealing with in earlier issues of his book. I really appreciated the tie-in. I thought that was a really good, a good twist. So you're looking at things, you're going, oh, okay, yeah, that's really neat. But since they've got so many of them, they can't really do anything against them. So I got to say, once again, it is a good book. It just isn't as strong as the others, but it's still good. The scene right here where the drowned captures Mira. Okay, well, we've seen this happen before, right? We've seen the one-shots. What's going to happen is the drowned one is going to start to deliver the killing blow when all of a sudden Dr. Fate shows up and oh, nope, not happening. I was like, holy crap, what the hell did they just do? What did they just do? How are they going to get out of this? How is this going to affect the regular books? Or are they just going to leave this all tied up in one little package, which I hope they do, because I think this is absolutely perfect. Obviously they will, because his storyline is different in the own thing. But when he changed Mira, I was like, oh shit, that is awesome. And it really did. It just brought it back. I said, you know what? They did it to me again. They made me really, really want to read what's happening next. So, like I said, while this isn't as strong a book as the others, it's still a pretty strong book. It does have its flaws, like the thought bubbles and such like that, the lack of motivation or, explanation of the motivation of the villain or protagonist, whatever you want to say the drowned one is for this book, the subject. Mr. Morton was the subject of the sentence. And, you know, so while it's not as good as the others, it's definitely worth it to pick up, especially if you've been a fan of Dark Knight's Metal. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Did you buy Batman the Drowning? And if you read it, what did you think? Is this your favorite? Or do you agree with me that this is on the other side of the spectrum? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, you know the drill. You've been on the internet for more than a day. Click like, definitely share, because that is the most helpful of all. And if you haven't done this already, click subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And if you go into the description, you'll see 2 links. One's for Patreon, one's for VIDME. And if you do like what we do, please go on over, drop $1 in the till, and help us to make these videos, help us keep the lights on. Definitely appreciate that. We definitely appreciate everybody who's already done that. And of course, to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very much for watching.
And it's dance with me, nautical wheelers, take me to the stars that you know. Come on and dance with me, dance with me.